It started with a light, not a flicker, not a glow, a beam, blinding, unrelenting, cutting through the dark like a lighthouse in a sea of cornfields. And then came the sound. Wings, massive, but unnatural, and a smell like sulfur and decay that leaked throughout the town. Van Meter, Iowa, 1903. A quiet coal town that experienced one of the most terrifying encounters, so terrifying that by the end of 1 week, the residents would barricade their doors, arm themselves, and fire bullets into the night at something that they just couldn't quite explain. Something that couldn't be killed. Some called it a monster. Some said it was from another world. But everyone agreed to call it one thing: the Van Meter Visitor. Hello.
So, howdy doody.
Howdy doody. This is Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two girls, one ghost. And we are your ghostesses. That is Corinne.
Hello.
And I am Sabrina. And we're color coordinated right now.
We're, the green and black.
And we match our curtains.
Our
in our
aesthetic.
studio.
I didn't tell you this because you weren't able to join Campfire Stories last week, but I told everyone else this. My Grammy, who passed, has had like so many signs to everyone.
Well, you had told me that morning.
The butterfly stuff.
Is there more?
Yeah.
Literally in that day there was more?
Yes. So at the time of her death.
Yeah.
So my dad and two of his siblings were all like with my Grammy when she passed. But the three spouses of the three siblings who were together all woke up at the exact same time, which was the exact same time as my Grammy's death. And then my brother was flying home that day to Houston.
Yeah.
His plane was super delayed. There were a bunch of thunderstorms, like just like weird weather stuff. So he didn't get in until much, much later than he was supposed to. And when he was on the plane, he smelled, and this wasn't, my Grammy hadn't passed yet. It was like maybe an hour before she did. He smelled the massage bar, which is like an extremely specific smell. It's the Lush massage bar with like the, what's it called? Like coffee beans or whatever in it that my mom brought. She would bring it like to my Grammy and massage her every time she saw her.
So it's like a smell associated with your Grammy.
Yes. And my brother was on the plane and just suddenly got the smell. And it's like, I've never just smelled that smell out and about. Like, it's a very specific smell. People don't wear it as like a perfume.
Right.
It's not, doesn't exist as a body wash or anything. Like, it's so specific. And he'd been on the plane and then just suddenly got the smell of this.
I mean, we talked
bar.
about this 2 episodes ago now, episode 328, when you had first told us about your Grammy's passing. But her spirit had made herself known before she passed away to multiple people, and now clearly multiple times.
Yeah. We're just waiting to see.
Have you had anything else? Like personally?
No, just the footsteps and the door opening. We'll see what happens because
Grammy is being felt.
Grammy's been active.
Yeah.
But I mean, all those things happened like leading up to when she passed, and I don't think there's been anything since. So I wonder if it was just all her, like
saying
making
goodbye.
her rounds to people.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it's wild because it's like so many people experiencing stuff.
That's amazing. I mean, the smell thing is because I can relate to that because I smell my grandma randomly. And it's such a specific smell.
Coffee and cigarettes, right?
Coffee, cigarettes, and Listerine. It's
and
the
Listerine.
3 of them. And I'll be like sitting in my backyard when I get a whiff of it. I'll be sitting in my living room with all the windows closed. I'll get a whiff of it. Like,
yeah, and that combo.
It's just in such
like
random places. Yeah.
Right.
It's wild.
It is wild.
Well, what do you have for us today? Where are you taking us? What journey are we going on?
We are going on a journey to Iowa.
No hate to Iowa.
Isn't Iowa the corn state? Shout out corn. I love corn.
I think I started doing this because I had braces. But how do you eat your corn? We need to talk about this. I now cannot eat it without cutting it off the cob.
Same. Because it's all up in, and I can't get it out.
I feel like
My
I can
tongue
enjoy
can't
it.
Get it out.
I enjoy it so much more when it's pre-cut And there's nothing better than cutting it perfectly that it stays kind of in the...
And honestly, I feel like it almost has like more juice and you can get more like butter and stuff around it when it's cut. Yeah, I'm not a nibble on the cob person anymore.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, braces. One thing to think. Well, and my teeth, my nice teeth. Thank you.
My shiny teeth and me. Fairly Odd Parents, anyone? Okay.
My brain went to brace face because of braces. Did you ever watch Brace Face?
No.
I don't think it was that long lasting, but I had braces at the same time.
I gotta look at this. Oh, I did watch Brace Face.
Did you ever have braces?
Yeah, I did.
How long?
2 years. My teeth have since shifted, but like whatever.
They look great.
It's fine. I have a little space. I will always have that little space.
I used to have the biggest gap tooth. I mean, I had braces for 7 years. Like literally I had such a big...
7 years?
Yeah, my gap was so big that my canine teeth, the adult teeth, like my baby teeth wouldn't fall out because the adult teeth started growing inwards up on the roof of my mouth. I literally had to have surgery to connect they pulled my baby teeth. I had the amount of dental work I've had.
Oh my God.
Bless my parents. But they literally had to pull my baby teeth, hoping that my adult teeth would like find their way back. One of them did. The other one, I had to get surgery to go into the roof of my mouth, connect the tooth to a chain, connect the chain to my braces, and slowly over time, they like pulled it down into its space.
Were you just like in constant pain?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But now look at me.
That's like the most intense thing I've heard. Connecting your tooth to a chain up in your gum to drag it back down.
Dental work is archaic.
No, I've got more space in my mouth than the teeth can. I can fit my whole fist in my mouth. So
let's see. Perform.
I don't want to do the whole thing.
You're so close. I can do the whole thing. Let me see. I feel like this is inappropriate.
That's exactly why I stopped.
Jamie, I think you should put like a little ghost emoji over our faces as we do that.
Let's not actually show anyone that.
Okay, to the ghost story.
It all begins on an autumn night. September 29th, 1903. Eugene Griffith, a well-known and well-respected local businessman, he is jolted awake in the dead of night because he sees something. A bright light. It is so bright, just shining through his windows, waking him up.
Are we talking aliens?
No.
Okay, I'll let you finish. Okay. Sorry, I got excited.
It is a light like he has never seen before. It completely floods his bedroom windows. It overtakes his whole room. It's stark. It's unblinking. The source of it completely unknown. So instinctively, he grabs his shotgun, as you do in 1903 Iowa. He runs outside. His heart is pounding. He's about to find whoever is doing this, shining this giant spotlight into his home and probably be pretty aggressive towards them.
Yeah.
His right as a store owner who he lives above his store. So he's thinking that his home is being burglarized. His store is being burglarized. So he's ready to be like, get away from my store. Yeah. Like, don't take anything. Scram.
Right.
I've got a gun. Whatever. That's how I picture him.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah, scary. So he was ready, probably in his underwear, to yell at some hooligans. But what he sees next will haunt him forever. There, looming in the shadows, is a figure. No, not a figure. It's a creature. It stands upright like a man, but it is not human. It has a huge wingspan. It's nearly 8 feet tall. Its body muscular, hunched, almost like a gargoyle. And these bat-like wings are unfurled behind its back, casting this giant shadow. A glowing horn is protruding from its head.
Like a unicorn?
Yes. And that is what is creating this like beacon of light, this like searchlight. It's casting this powerful sweeping beam of light into the darkness, which is what went into his windows and woke this man up. And so G. Griffith is watching this thing, completely terrified, gripping onto his gun. And the creature moves slowly, deliberately, eerily confident.
Well, yeah, when you have a glowing unicorn horn, of course, the confidence is endless.
Right? It's like dragon-like. It's big. Okay, it's almost like a pterodactyl-looking creature, but it has this glowing horn. Griffith then takes his gun, fires once, fires twice. The gunshots echoing down Main Street, but the creature doesn't flinch. It merely turns its head, looks at him with glinting eyes, and then vanishes into the night at an impossible speed.
Okay, so it's a combination of a unicorn, a gargoyle, and Mothman.
Yeah. And like really does look like a pterodactyl.
Wow.
It's weird. So Griffith is not quiet about this encounter. He starts telling people. And at first the townsfolk are like, okay, like what happened to you? Did you bonk your head last night?
Well,
like what's going
especially
on?
if this is a main street, like it's called Main Street, I would imagine there are a lot of people who live on this block and no one else saw it.
Right, exactly. And if it has this like giant search beam of light, you would think more people would wake up. And I don't know how many people lived above their shops, but like it was the middle of the night
Interesting.
in a shopping area. But I would assume more people would have.
Right.
People are like, Griffith, you must have just imagined this. And he's like, no, I swear I saw this. People are like, it's a trick of light. It's a bad dream. Something's happening to you, Griffith.
Right. Without anyone else to back him up, it's, should we be concerned about him?
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, just you wait, because I bet this thing will be back. Skepticism of the townsfolk quickly turns to fear when that very evening, a strange bluish glow begins to pulse through the windows of another person's home. Dr. Alcott, the town's beloved physician. He would have the next
people are
terrifying encounter.
Of
right?
The doctor.
Right, yeah. Like you didn't want to believe in the shopkeeper? Well, guess what?
Right.
Now your doctor is experiencing this. So Alcott steps outside. He's curious, but he's cautious. I don't know if he had heard the rumors yet about what this other man, Griffith, had experienced, but he's immediately overwhelmed by this sulfuric, disgusting stench. And it's actually the same stench that Griffith had previously told people about, also experiencing when he was outside. Some people would later say that this stench is like mind erasing, like you're supposed to forget your experiences, very like Men in Black. But it is this like deeply disgusting odor, like rotten eggs.
Which also is associated with demonic entities or dark entities.
So yeah, this creature from the underworld.
Whatever this is, it's not.
No. And this thing smells like it's rotting.
Ugh.
And Griffith is a physician. He is familiar, I'm sure, with a lot of weird, funky smells.
Yeah.
So his eyes are drawn upward, and there it is. Towering, winged, glowing.
Oh, it's
the
up?
creature.
It's like not on the ground?
Yeah, it's often like perched on rooftops. So he raises his pistol, because everyone has a gun in this town at this time. He raises his pistol and he fires 5 shots directly at it, intending to kill it.
And did
the bullets strike.
Crack its neck again and go, nice try.
Basically, 5 shots strike this beast, but no damage, no blood, no pain, but a sound that did not belong of this world screeched out of this creature. The beast was now angered, and the monster lifted itself into the sky. With thunderous flaps of its wings, it disappeared once more into the night. So
I'm like flipping through my Rolodex of cryptids because this has so many similar traits to so many we've heard of.
The glowing horn is what
that's
throws
new,
it.
Yeah.
Right.
And what does it want?
Yeah. I don't really know. We're not going to get answers as to what it wants, unfortunately.
Shocking. But the way that like bullets don't strike it or damage it does make me think that cryptids like the travel through dimensions.
Yeah. It also makes me think, okay, so like thinking about like when people say like they see pterodactyls or thunderbirds, like all these sort of like prehistoric, is this paranormal, or is this like somehow these dinosaurs just existing? It also makes me wonder just about like the skin of a dinosaur and like the thickness of it.
Right.
Would our modern day bullets actually penetrate it enough to do any damage? Like, I don't know what their skin was like.
I think they would. A bullet, think about the speed.
I don't know. I'm trying
Their
to
skin's not like armor.
I have questions for the dinosaurs. Not you chickens, the other ones before you. So this is in Van Meter, Iowa, and now the entire town is awake, terrified, trembling in fear, completely trusting that there is now a beast in the town.
Why do I so badly, like my brain won't stop thinking this, but you know the game like Murderer or One Night Werewolf, where the town goes to sleep. Like you all get like a role. You're a townsperson, you're the cop, you're the doctor.
So where you like put your head down and like someone gets like a scratch on there.
It's similar, of the same vein, but like you get a role and they paint a whole story. It's like, everyone goes to sleep. It's a peaceful night in the town of Van Meter, Iowa. Mm-hmm. And then like the narrator's like, murderer, wake up. And they point to the person they want to murder.
Yeah.
And then murderer goes to sleep. And then the doctor wakes up. Who do you want to save? They point to someone.
Oh.
Then they go to sleep, and then the cop wakes up, and it's like, who do you want to like ask if it's this person? Like, say you were the murderer, and I pointed to you.
Do you play
as
this
the
in
cop.
school?
At sleepovers, at school.
Oh.
Recently.
Recently?
You can't really pay by yourself, but I just keep feeling like this town is
I love how
that
you're
town.
thinking of that, because this whole time I was researching this, I was thinking of Midnight Mass.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Murderer is literally, what's the show? The Scottish guy. They're all like staying in the castle.
Oh,
Traitors. It's
Traitors.
literally the show Traitors. Murderer is the show
Oh.
Traitors.
Okay, well, yeah, like this is freaking out the town, and yeah. It does feel. Well, I guess the good thing with this is that there are no like suspects. It's just there's a creature. So like no one's pointing fingers at each other,
and no one's dying, right?
No one's dying.
No one's being murdered.
It's just really, but people are trying to murder this thing,
right?
That's for sure. So the town's laughter turns into whispered prayers. Doors are barred. Children are kept inside. Every able-bodied man is now armed. And people are taking shifts, patrolling the town, patrolling the neighborhoods, trying to look to the skies and figure out where this beast is and what it might want. The third night, the creature returns again. And this time, it's to the town bank. Clarence Dunn, a local banker, is sleeping inside the bank with a shotgun in hand, not because he was prepared for the beast, but because he was thinking in all the mayhem that would happen, potentially someone might try to take advantage of it, break into the bank. So he was armed for potential burglars to protect the bank. Around 1 a.m., a strange noise wakes Clarence. A scraping sound like claws against the brick. Ugh. The air is thick, and the stench of rotting sulfur emanates through the building. He turns to the window, and there it is. The creature, the horned beast. Desperate, Dunn also fires shots at this creature.
So does he go outside to fire shots?
Like, I think it might have been through the window. I have no idea.
Jeez. Now people are really going to rob the bank.
Right? So he fires multiple rounds, and it's a very foggy night. The bullets disappear. The creature disappears, vanishes into the shadows, into the fog, and Clarence has no idea where it is. But upon going outside and trying to investigate like where it was near the window, he finds a footprint. It is 18 inches long, and it has 3 toes. And he took a cast of this.
Do we
footprint.
Have a photo?
We do have we have a photo. It's in a museum.
What year was all of this happening?
1903.
This isn't like that long ago.
It's really hard to see in this photo, but like, because there's like other bricks and stuff near it. And that's really the only like evidence left behind through this whole story, like physical evidence.
Well, this whole story feels fake because it's like on the first night, on the second night, on the third night. And it's each night one person individually is seeing this thing.
You're thinking, oh my God, everyone should be panicked. Everyone should be rallying together. But individuals are experiencing things, and it feels too like, okay, what's going on? Is this like just, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, but just like mass hysteria almost.
Sure.
Or like what's going on
if one
in this
person
town.
says it, is this now creating the experience for everyone else that's experiencing it?
Right. Or it's like sometimes I think of that one listener story that we received where it was like her aunt or something was so convinced that there was this like demon or like beast on top of the house, and then figured out that it was turkeys that were like flying over. Okay, so now we have a print from Clarence Dunn's experience on the third night.
I feel like it's very hard to feel 100% these days.
Yeah, so we need a little help from our friends.
And thank goodness we have friends at Cymbiotika, because it is my favorite way to take my supplements. I love their vitamin C packets.
Yes. I was putting them in my drinks, but then you told me that you just squeeze the patches right into your mouth, so I've started doing that now too. Now I'm a squeezer.
You're a squeezer. What are you? How do you take your Cymbiotika supplements? They have so many different amazing supplements. This one that we have right here is the Shilajit liquid complex that truly tastes like yummy chocolate goodness. It's hazelnut cocoa flavored. It's great for sustained energy, muscle recovery, and brain health, which I need all of those. It just makes taking your supplements so much easier and convenient, and also they taste good, which is the best part.
Go to Cymbiotika.com/TGOG for 20% off plus free shipping. That's Cymbiotika.com/TGOG for 20% off plus free shipping. Another person, a well-known hardware store owner O.V. White has a similar experience. He is awakened by this intense light and this terrifying pressure on his chest. So he steps onto his balcony and he sees, perched on his neighbor's roof, not a turkey, but this creature, this beast, this visitor, as people call it.
Right.
It has massive wings that are folded behind its back, and the glowing horn is scanning the town like a lighthouse, like it's searching for something.
Yeah, what is it looking for? Because clearly it wants something. If it's revisiting the same town,
Right.
especially the same street over and over, night after night.
It's very weird. So now this is the fourth time this creature is shot at, because apparently everyone who sees it has a gun. So the creature, while it's perched on the neighbor's home, O.V. White fires at the creature, basically almost like point blank. Like he's very close because it's on his neighbor's roof. So this is maybe one of the closest shots compared to some of the others, aside from Clarence Dunn, who saw it right outside the bank's window. So the creature screeches like it was hit, but it doesn't fall. It takes flight, its wings flapping, and it disappears again into the silence of the night. But by this point, it is clear there is something in this town, and it is not just a figment of people's imagination. It is real, and seemingly, it cannot be harmed.
And it's confusing as heck.
Mm-hmm. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's a picture that I'm including, which is like an artist's depiction of the town and what happened. And I actually love it because this was like a mining town, which I'll go into in a little bit, but it like shows everybody like in uproar and like beasts flying over the mine. And I just love it.
Oh my gosh. I love it because it looks like a real photo.
It does.
With added elements.
And it also reminds me of like a movie still from like 1996, right? Like this feels like we'd be watching this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this is when the rumors really began to spread through the town. Some say this thing was a demon. It was summoned through dark rituals. Maybe the land itself was cursed. Perhaps the mining work unearthed something. Others claim that it's an alien from beyond the stars, and it's here on some sort of mission and searching for something, like you said. Other people are blaming it on the mining operation, saying that it's disturbed some sort of ecosystem underground that we're not aware of.
I believe that.
And that there is these creatures now that have access to above ground, that maybe lived in like the deep caves, cavernous.
Especially if it's bat-like and it has this glowing horn, good for seeing in dark underground caves.
Yeah, maybe it can't see at all. Maybe it's just like complete like light sonar, like some sort of weird thing. Maybe its eyeballs can't actually spot you. Who knows?
That's so interesting.
But the light is the thing that's tripping everyone up. No one can explain what the hell this like giant, bright, flashing, horned like searchlight on top of this beast's head is.
Right.
It does remind me of the one fish, the anglerfish, that they have the like light in front of them too.
Poor anglerfish.
So some swear that this is actually just a ghost of an ancient being disturbed from its slumber in the coal mines. Others say that there's a secret government experiment that's happening, and that has now been exposed with the coal mine activity.
We love a secret government experiment.
Love that. Some people have even blamed time travelers or like shifts in, like someone did something and it like shifted the way time exists. And basically, no one knows what's going on.
Every theory is possible.
Every theory is possible. Yeah. So the town is ablaze with theory and speculation. But one thing is certain, there's something, a beast, in Van Meter, Iowa. That's about all they know for certain.
I'm also curious, like, how large is this town? Because I'm imagining a very small town, and this is just so befuddling.
I think that's pretty accurate.
And it's also like the topic of every conversation.
Yeah. Okay, so the final night, the climax of the horror.
The fifth night.
Witnesses claim not one, but two creatures are now emerging from the abandoned coal mine on the town's edge.
It has a baby. Or
maybe
a
it was looking for the baby or the partner.
Wait. Okay, that's why it's the last night.
Searching.
Okay.
Well.
Oh.
So these two beasts, their horns glowing in the darkness, their bodies covered in this dark leathery skin, their wings vast, silent, flapping through the night, leaving behind the smell of rotten eggs wherever they fly.
Poor guys.
So a group of townsmen then gather near the mine's entrance. They are armed with every weapon they could muster, and they wait in the shadows for these beings to emerge once more, because this is kind of like the site, like this one part of the mine that people aren't working in, that's like seemingly abandoned. Perhaps this is where these beasts are living. This is where
Sure.
they lie. They come back every night, emerging from the mine shaft. So people gather there. The air is heavy. Anxiety is just palpable. And then a flash of light. The sulfuric stench. A shriek so loud it could break a window. The men open fire, shotguns, rifles, all of them armed, just at these two creatures. And the barrage of bullets are just echoing through the valley. The whole neighborhood, the whole town, I'm sure, was awake, waiting for this beast and hearing this battle.
I'm also just so glad no one got hurt by a stray bullet.
That's true.
Like, people are just willy-nilly shooting
Just
at these things.
Foom, foom, yeah. But again, no blood, no wounds. The creatures, unbothered, retreat calmly into the mine. And just like that, it was kind of over. But in order to make sure that there wasn't going to be another night of these beasts returning, the town decided to act quickly and seal the mine, the entrance buried beneath rock and rubble. Official records made note of strange occurrences, but over time the story then kind of faded, became a bit of folklore in the town, and all of the physical evidence disappeared except for the footprint. But the memory did not. The lore did not.
Yeah, how could you forget that?
And to this day, people in Van Meter still talk about that week. There's actually a festival, too, that they have.
I love a good festival.
Generations later, families passed down the stories of this Van Meter visitor.
Is that what it's called?
The Van Meter visitor, yep,
Okay.
in 1903, which is like such a, for a giant beast, basically like a dragon to come visit your town and be like, oh, it's our visitor.
Well,
but they were terrified of it.
It's better than like the killer because it didn't kill anyone.
It didn't kill anyone.
Okay, well now I'm also thinking like what if these glowing horns are also a bit of like a drill if they do live in the caves that they can use them to like tunnel through these through the underground.
Yeah, like I wonder if there's a lot of heat.
Yeah.
Too. Like if they can kind of like melt rock or something.
I love them.
They harmed no one. They were minding their own business. We were trying to harm them.
Yeah, we're the villains.
We are in this story for sure. And most skeptics have chalked it up to mass hysteria, basically saying like this is something that happens time and time again. We have talked about some of the things like the dancing plague and just like other instances where people get really riled up and they get into a story and then suddenly unexplained, everybody is experiencing the same thing and can't quite
differentiate what's reality and what's not.
Exactly.
I hot take think we're due for a dancing plague. Sue me. I said it.
I hope it happens. Actually, I take that back because now that I'm thinking about the actual dancing plague and the people who died from like exhaustion and dehydration because they couldn't stop dancing, I don't hope it happens. But I do agree with you that maybe there should just be like a universal, worldwide timed dance break.
Like I almost want there to be a little bit of hysteria in it where like all of a sudden everyone in the world drops everything and just starts dancing and cannot stop until we realize how silly we've been about everything. I said it. It's out there.
It's out there.
Manifest it.
Manifest it. People have talked mass hysteria. People have been just wondering if this was a hoax made up to like, I don't know why, but I guess like garner attention for the town. But essentially people have no idea what happened. The beasts were sealed in the cave. People, sometimes still today, say that they hear the beating of the wings soaring through the darkness of the sky. People have also, people have smelled that same sulfuric rot. And to truly understand how the fear overtook Van Meter, I did write a little bit about like the era and what was going on in the town of Van Meter in 1903.
Okay.
So this was kind of like what you were saying. It's a small town, or you were picturing it as a small town, and it was. It was a town where everyone knew everyone, tight-knit group of people who were like farmers, laborers, coal miners, families. It was just west of Des Moines, Iowa, if anyone knows Des Moines. And there were a lot of wooden storefronts that lined Main Street, but it wasn't like this giant shopping metropolis. It was like a pretty modest little downtown. You know, people were
Sounds
living
like it's
above
a mining town.
Yeah, exactly. This feels kind of like almost like a Wild West town in my mind.
So, and you probably don't have the answers for this, but I just am so curious if the economy of this town is primarily coal mining and then they've sealed the mines because of these beasts. Do all the coal miners just lose their job? Like what happens?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have enough information if like the coal mine that because they were talking about the coal mine being abandoned, but like it wasn't at this time. So
Right.
I'm curious if the coal mine that they thought was where the creatures were was like
A separate one.
like they had already moved on and were working in a different area.
Right.
But like still, wouldn't you be terrified of going down and underneath into the darkness?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot of blue collar workers. There were hardware stores, grocery stores, a horse track, but really like it was very small, I guess.
Yeah.
So the coal mines were Van Meter's beating heart. Every morning before dawn, people would wake up and they would descend into the darkness of the shafts just outside of the edge of town. And it was very, as we know, very grueling and dangerous work. They had a lot of deaths just because of, like the risks of cave-ins were not uncommon. But there were also these rumors of strange noises that would echo through the chambers, little whispers of something weird down in the mine shaft. And some of the miners sometimes dismissed this with a shake of the head and a nervous laugh. And this is where I wrote a stupid joke. It's a reference. It's a movie reference.
Okay.
I think I'm getting the black
I was
lung pop.
literally just thinking about Zoolander. As you were talking about the conditions of the mines, I was literally in my head, yeah, well, we've all seen Zoolander. We know.
Right.
So, apropos.
There we go. Well, I'm glad I said it out loud now because otherwise I would have just gone over it. So on the surface of the town, electricity was scarce. They did a lot of like oil lamps in their windows and stuff. So this like bright light of this creature was just
shocking.
Like complete. Yeah, it was so shocking. It so stuck out.
Yeah.
Medical understanding of mental health was very rudimentary at this time. The line between superstition and science was all blurred. And rural towns like Van Meter were very tight-knit and they were very deeply religious too. So something like this is like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I'm actually shocked that they weren't immediately saying like this is a demon from the underworld. They were really questioning like what thing could be. And I think maybe it's because it wasn't just like one person saw it and the rumors were ablaze. Many people were saying it and it like was a real like it was so confusing that they couldn't just simply say like, oh well it must be this.
Right.
Especially because it has the glowing horn. Again, it goes back to the glowing horn. People were like, well, what's that? We've never heard about that.
Makes me think of a drawing a kid would have made.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to life.
Right. So people are having a really hard time kind of like dissecting these experiences with logic.
Sure.
So the rumors spread like wildfire and the beasts were trapped in the cave, I guess, sealed away in the cave. Today, the Van Meter visitor lives on. Each September, the town hosts a festival commemorating the week that they went face to face with these, they say a beast, but there were two in the end. So like these two creatures.
I just like, do people dress up as the beast?
Oh, I don't know. Let me look.
Because if not, I volunteer. I will do that.
I like honestly didn't even look into the festival that much.
What day is it this year? Let's see.
Oh, interesting. Okay, wait. I'm looking at the flyer from last year and they had a talk on exploring the possible connection between cryptids and allegedly extinct animals. Another talk on the evolution of lore, evolving face of cryptids.
We would have fun here.
We would. Why are there no... I feel like we're missing photos of this festival. People need to upload them.
What about their Facebook group? I think this year it's on September 27th. Okay, there's pictures of people eating food.
Oh, there's a Bigfoot cast. What am I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway.
It's an open casting call for Bigfoot.
Okay, so yeah, they host a festival. Locals and tourists, they'll gather for lectures, guided walks. There's also, I don't know if they still do this, but I know that previously there had been a nighttime excursion where you can go to basically like the outskirts of town to where the mine was closed.
Okay, there's a picture on the Facebook group with like a group of people like walking along a street. And I was like, what's this? But they must be walking the path.
They must be. Yes. Okay, so that's great if they still do it. And so while most people believe that the Van Meter visitor vanished in 1903, others are not so sure. In fact, there have been actually a handful of modern sightings that suggest that these creatures were not just banished to the cave, that the ceiling of the cave did nothing. Perhaps they found another exit.
I hope it didn't do anything. I hope it didn't trap them in there.
Right?
So
they did nothing to anyone.
Yeah.
They spent a week out there.
And it was searching for some.
They were searching for something.
Presumably their offspring, their partner, their sibling, their...
Why can't they just soar through the sky?
Right.
Let them be.
Let them beast.
Rest in beast. So this was not an isolated account, this 1903 sighting, because back in 1980 or the 1980s, there was a man who just moved to the area, had never heard the lore of this creature, which I believe that because like you and I have been doing this podcast for
How long? 8 years?
Yeah.
And we've never heard of it?
And we're like deep in the cryptid lore.
Yeah.
So I believe this guy. And he'd never heard the lore. He just moved there and he claimed to come face to face with this creature that had a 5-foot wingspan and it was gliding silently above the old mine entrance.
Did it have the glowing horn?
I don't know. He didn't say that. He didn't say anything about a glowing horn. But
Maybe
then in the early 2000s, a Van Meter family who was driving home late one night caught a glimpse of this massive figure perched roadside and their headlights caught it and the creature turned its head, looked at them, and then was gone. Again, no mention of a light. So maybe it can turn it on and off. It's not just like something that's always glowing. In 2006, a pastor was driving through the area and he looks up to the sky and is just aghast when he sees this giant creature. And I think it's like daytime. And he has no clue what he's saying. He thinks it's a dragon. So when he goes home, he Googles Iowa dragon. And then this is when he learns about the visitor.
I'm shook.
And then in 2017, another man claimed to see it as well, hovering above the tree line. And this time, there was the really bright light. There was no sound. And he was like, I do not know what I saw. All I can say for certain is that this definitely was not a plane.
It also just makes me so interested in why some cryptids are regional. Like, why do they only appear in Van Meter, Iowa? Why do the Jersey Devil only appear in, like, the Pine Barrens?
Well, but maybe they don't. Maybe the Jersey Devil and
the Van Meter visitor are related.
Yeah, or even like I'm thinking about like when people say that they see pterodactyls in like the Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts. Like, why can't they all be the same or very similar? But it's just we get very rare glimpses of them because they don't, they're not supposed to exist like up here. And then sometimes.
Okay, here's my creative brain's logic story that is happening in Van Meter in 1903. We got Mama Visitor, who they live in the mines. She has a baby. She teaches her baby the ways.
Baby learns to fly.
Baby learns to fly. And baby knows the rules. Never leave the mines. Never go where the people go.
Yeah, we live in the caves.
But the curiosity is just killing him. And he has to just check it out. And he gets so scared and startled by something that he goes into hiding. And so Mama now, for 5 nights, is looking for her child and finally finds them on the 5th night.
And that's when they see them flying together and then going back into the cave. That's sweet.
At least they weren't trapped back in the cave without the second.
Yeah, without each other. I mean, the fact is they didn't harm anybody again.
Right.
If you want to consider someone waking up because there was a bright light that just like scanned their window super fast, then sure. But like lightning does the same thing.
Right.
In 2020, just an hour north of Van Meter near Boone, Iowa, there was a local resident who also had a bizarre encounter. They were walking near the woods when they heard and described a massive whoosh, this forceful gust of wind. And then they saw right after that, as they're like looking to the sound and looking up in the sky, this huge flying creature, like something overhead. It had huge, massive wings and it like blocked out the sky. It was so giant. So this is an hour north. So you were just saying like, why aren't these things? Why are they just like right here? But this might not just be in this one town. It's just like
visit, a trip.
Just sometimes you get to see something. Some say it was a trick of the light. Others believe the town's mining history stirred up something dark and ancient, something that never really left, or maybe something that always existed before us. They don't know, but what we do know is over a century later, we are still celebrating and wondering about the Van Meter visitor. This episode of Two Girls, One Ghost is brought to you by Alloy Women's Health.
Aging can be, let's just put it plainly, it's crappy.
It is. We hurt.
Problems sleeping, hot flashes,
brain fog,
decreased libido, weight gain. I mean, they can hit us hard. Menopause and midlife is inevitable, but it's also treatable. And it's wild how many women put off treatment because they don't realize it's available.
Alloy can help you thrive during menopause and midlife, offering unlimited access to doctors and experts with safe, science-based treatments for your hormone symptoms, as well as skin, hair, and sexual wellness treatments.
So here's how it works. You sign up. Alloy solutions are available by prescription, so you'll need to complete a short medical questionnaire and a patient verification. And then you work with an expert physician to finalize your personalized treatment plan. And then once you're approved, you get your 3-month supply shipped directly to your door with automatic refills.
And now that we're getting older, we also know a lot of people who are dealing with these types of symptoms. And so this has been something that I have started recommending to everyone. We cannot recommend Alloy enough. Join the 95% of women who joined Alloy and saw relief in the first 2 weeks. Head to myalloy.com and tell them about your symptoms, and you'll get a fully customized treatment plan.
And you'll get $20 off your first order today when you use the code TGOG. Head to myalloy.com, myalloy.com, and enter code TGOG for $20 off your first order.
Experts in psychology have said that this is textbook mass hysteria, but we say no because you're wrong. Why would people who are so respected in their community all give basically matching stories? Like matching, the stories are different, but like the identification of the creature is the same.
Right.
Why would they try to fabricate something so outlandish? They wouldn't. There is a beast there, or at least there was. So paranormal theorists, meanwhile, say that this is part of a broader pattern, and it's very similar to what you were saying in the beginning, Mothman of Point Pleasant and the Flatwoods Monster of West Virginia. Those are like the two comparisons. I'm bringing in the Bridgewater Triangle because I think that the pterodactyls... Have we
covered the Flatwoods Monster, or is it in our Excel to cover? I think I have it as something to cover, so that's interesting.
You should cover it soon, so we can do like comparisons. So these entities appear during moments of change, uncertainty, or geological disturbances, and people say that like with the growth of the town and the mining and all of that, perhaps this is a reason for these creatures to appear. What they mean, we do not know.
A warning, omen of some kind.
People have wondered if there's a portal that has somehow opened up there. I guess the answer is we don't know. But today, Van Meter celebrates its strange history, and outside of the festival, if you are curious to learn more, there is an entire book that was written, The Van Meter Visitor, by Chad Lewis, Kevin Lee Nelson, and Noah Voss, that goes into a very like comprehensive investigation. I think they include a lot of like real life accounts from people of more modern times. And there's also newspaper articles, like original newspaper articles, which if you've been watching on YouTube, I included one screenshot from one of them that you can find if you go online into the archives at the Des Moines Daily News and the Des Moines Register. So there you go.
So cool. Cryptid stories are so hard because it's like there is no more information.
And yeah, we don't like, how can we theorize?
Right. It's fascinating. I'm rooting for you, Van Meter Visitor. Big fan of your work. And go off, King.
Dance break.
And that's when we drop all of our things and fall into a dance hysteria. Wow. I have a listener story, not of the Van Meter Visitor and not necessarily from Iowa either, but it is from our listener Haley, and it is called The Time I Saw a Possible Cryptid, Nightly Screams, and the Bones in the Woods.
Oh, the bones in the woods.
I was drawn in. I was hooked.
Yeah.
And this is Appalachia adjacent. So again, I was
Love
hooked.
It.
Hello, ghouls. My name is Haley, she, they. I've recently gotten into your podcast, and when I saw you were doing episodes on Appalachia, I was immediately drawn in because I have lived my entire life in the Appalachian region. To start this off, I lived in and around the woods my entire life, and I have grown up hearing weird noises and seeing things that have been brushed off. And as I grew up, I eventually fell into the Appalachian rabbit hole and learned about all the spooky things that happen out there. The cryptids, the legends, the whole nine. Now, I've lived in small towns mostly, so of course I've heard a few things from the locals that I pretty much ignored because why would I believe some old person rattling off some crazy warning about the things in the woods? But now I know. I have to heed those warnings. Okay, so a while back when I was just starting middle school, my family had moved further into Southern Virginia at the heart of the Appalachian region. We were living in a small but comfortable house on the foot of the biggest mountain in the area, where our only closest neighbors were our landlord, who lived a mile behind us, and a woman and her family who lived on a ranch in front of us. But her house was on top of a hill with a whole row of trees and a field, plus a horse stable blocking our view of them. So safe to say we were pretty secluded. Everywhere around our house were the woods. Our backyard was just a porch that extended into a little garden. Up a hill, we had a fire pit. And then behind that began the tree line.
Sounds really nice. But I'm nervous the whole time because it's like,
You know,
it's an
where this
email
is
that was sent to
going.
us. So things are going to go awry.
Yeah. It was one morning at around 6:30 a.m., late fall. So it was early in the morning. The sun was barely up. My two sisters were upstairs in the house asleep. My mom was at work and my dad was at the store, if I recall correctly. So I was at the end of the fairly small driveway waiting for my bus to take me to school. And as someone with ADHD, for the life of me, I cannot stay still. So I was swaying side to side, had my earbuds in. And then I got this feeling like I was being watched. But I also have severe anxiety. So at first I just brushed it off thinking I was paranoid. Because again, it was still kind of dark. It's a dreary fall morning. I had just woken up a bit ago and I'm surrounded by woods. So of course, I'm writing it off. This is a creepy environment. But that feeling just wouldn't stop. And you know that feeling of the hair on your neck standing up and your thoughts are racing, trying to convince yourself it's fine and you don't have to turn around because it's all in your head, but you can't shake the feeling and your stomach is full of dread? Well, yeah, that's what I was feeling. I was trying to focus on my music, but as I swayed back and forth, that feeling kept building up. I tried to ignore it, but I couldn't. And I felt my body want to turn, to look. I couldn't resist it. I turned to my right, and there I saw it. Behind the tree line, behind my house, was a pale figure.
Ooh. No, I immediately think of flesh pedestrians.
And it wasn't humanoid in any way.
Oh.
It was pale, gray, with long, gangly limbs. I imagine if it happened to stand up, it would have been taller than any grown pine tree.
What?
And it wasn't just standing there.
Oh, I got chills. This is giant.
No, it was slowly crawling towards me like a predator stalking its prey.
But like, why even crawl? If you're that massive, you can just basically reach out and grab you.
Because it's creepier. It was almost grotesque, watching it crawl with its long limbs, its joints bent in all the wrong ways, its body skinny with its ribs showing like a starved man. It is very flesh pedestrian.
Yeah.
I stood there for a moment, frozen in fear and shock as I watched it. And then I did what any sensible person would do in that situation and ran all the way back to my house and quickly locked the door behind me. However, if you've learned any of the rules about Appalachia, it is said that if you find that you notice you are being stalked by one of the many creatures in the woods, you should never run because you don't want to alert it to either your presence or the fact that you're aware of its presence. But I was panicking and I was like, well, I don't really want to be killed. So I ran inside. And after taking a breather, I got my phone out and I texted my family group chat, recounting what I had seen, asking when my dad was going to get back and if he could take me to school instead of me going back outside waiting for the bus. My parents didn't believe me though. So when my dad got back, he laughed at me and said he would not take me to school, but he would sit on the porch and watch me wait for the bus. That was the first and last time I saw that figure. And while I'm glad it was, for the next couple of years that we lived there, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched every time I went outside. Now, for my second story, kind of short, but it takes place at the same house. For the first few nights after we had moved in, all was good. We were just shaking off the adrenaline from moving into a new place and finally settling in. But of course, just as we got comfortable, that's when the woods decided to not let us rest. It was late at night, and my sleep schedule was basically non-existent, along with both of my sisters. So they were both in their shared room talking, and I was downstairs getting a late snack. I don't know what time it was exactly, but I do know for a fact that all of the neighbors around us were definitely asleep. Keep in mind, they're also really far away from their neighbors. As I was finishing my snack and throwing the remaining trash away, I heard it. A scream coming from the woods behind our house. This scream lasted about 5 seconds. It was coming from the woods behind our house and lasted roughly 5 seconds. I paused, quickly finished what I was doing, and ran upstairs because the kitchen had 2 windows on the wall that faced the woods, and I did not want to catch a glimpse of whatever or whoever was making that noise. It sounded human. Not just a spook scream, but like a I'm getting attacked type of scream. However, as someone who's lived in the woods all of my life, I also know that while sounding like a human, it very well could have been a fox or a mountain lion. But mountain lion screams are deeper, and I've heard them before. So I went to bed, spooked. But the next morning, as I barged into my sister's room, because I, as the sibling, have the right to do so, noticed that they were talking about a scream that they heard the other night. So I was like, did you guys hear that scream last night too? And they both said yes, they had. We've all heard it. And I don't know if my parents have, but it was very unsettling. It's also unsettling because it's not the first or the last time we've heard it. For the full 3.5 years that we lived in this house, we would hear these high-pitched screams coming from the woods at night, almost always around 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Not every night. Sometimes we wouldn't hear it for weeks, and then it would be back. And it was constant enough that we were always spooked at night.
And like if they know the sounds of the wildlife.
Right.
Like you know if it's the mountain lion or the coyotes or whatever, an
so
owl.
Scary. It also, I'm glad that it happened more than once because you also know it's not just a human being attacked.
I had that thought too.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, well, what if that's the noise that a human makes in like complete fear and terror of like a beast attacking them, like some sort of like this giant gangly creature.
I don't know. For my last story, which isn't my personal experience, but it's something both of my sisters uncovered. So in the summer, we were clearing out our backyard, and while I opted to stay as far away from the woods as possible and not go in them because I always have felt uneasy about the woods in that house, my sisters decided to go explore the area. I don't know why, but I'm imagining her sisters are twins. They share a room, and Haley just seems like the older sister who's just like barging in, runs the house.
Or is that younger sister behavior?
I don't know. I guess it could be either. Haley, let us know. That's the biggest mystery. Okay, so Haley says their sisters went to explore. So they went past the garden, up the hill to the tree line in the back, and started walking along a little path that they had found while the rest of us were inside, you know, cooling off, doing whatever. And they stumbled upon a little break in the pathway. On this pathway, they discovered bones. At first, they thought maybe deer bones. They found a part of a rib, but as they looked closer and started uncovering more, they found a part of a finger, a leg bone, and my middle sister picked up what was part of a femur bone, still attached to a part of a hip bone, and asked our oldest sister, while waving it around, "What's this?" So you're right, youngest sister.
Yeah.
My oldest sister saw it and immediately told her to put it down. And upon closer inspection, these bones did not appear to be animal, but human. They did not find a full skeleton. And after my sisters put the bones down, they made their way back to the house and for some reason did not call the police. No forensics. And honestly, I get not wanting to deal with it, but there were literal human remains on our property.
I wonder if they could tell at all. I mean, obviously, like conditions and like this is why body farms exist. Like it's you need a forensic specialist to tell you how long a body has been there. But it does make me wonder if they did, if it would sync up to any of the times that they had a lot of that like screeching activity on their property.
Or the screams like a residual haunting.
Oh.
Haley says, closing notes, all of these incidents happened at the same house. This house was built in the late 50s to 60s, and while living there had been several spooky occurrences, but these are the ones that really fit into the Appalachian category. While living there, my sisters and I have all come to the conclusion that yes, the house and the property around it are definitely haunted, the vibes are very unsettling, and we never want to go back. While I'm glad I have experiences to share. I know.
Make it like a haunted Airbnb.
I don't think they live there anymore.
Shoot.
While I'm
maybe good for you.
Yeah. While I'm glad I have experiences to share with you, I would never want to live there again or have others have those nightmares.
Mm.
My theory is that maybe what I saw, the creature, was a flesh walker, a windy boy, or some other creepy crawly spirit. Anyway, thank you for reading my stories. And if this does happen to be featured in an episode, thank you for sharing your thoughts on them. Love you girls and the podcast. See you on the other side, Haley.
I mean, for sure, flesh pedestrian sounding, just like even the screams could very much be that.
Right.
It is confusing, though, because this thing was so huge. Like the fact that it could be like taller than a grown pine tree.
I guess I don't know the height.
What kind of pine?
Yeah, I don't know the height, but I am just picturing it probably even seemed larger because of how skinny and gangly the limbs were.
Right. Yeah, all like folded up.
Yeah, the way it just like
so creepy.
Creeping towards her as she's waiting for the bus.
You know what's interesting is like we've never actually heard, and maybe this is because those people are no longer here to tell the story, but like it always ends with something with these types of creatures like trying to like stalking,
but never completing.
But like no one's like
a mission.
We've never heard of like being face to face, like breathing its same breath, touching it.
Right. I feel like the closest story we've gotten was when we did the Indigenous episode or encounters and we read the Raven Mocker story. But even that, it's probably the closest someone's been to an entity like that.
Yeah.
But they're still at a distance.
Yeah. And I can't remember if we read it on our podcast or if it was like another podcast I was listening to, but I remember another one where like someone encountered that and started sprinting out of the woods, which is like what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Or no, I think they got to the clearing of the woods and then started sprinting through the. Did we read this?
No, I don't know this.
Someone, I think they were like walking their dog. Maybe it was on TikTok. They're like walking their dog and they're like, or whatever, like, hi. And then knew that they weren't supposed to look, but looked, and it was this sort of like classic flesh pedestrian looking creature. And they just like head down swiftly, but tried to like calmly walk to the forest edge. And then there was like a big field clearing to get to their parents' house. And they just sprint to the house. And then they close the door. I think the like grandparent or like, I don't remember the story, but one of the relatives is there. And they look back and the creature is at the forest edge, like watching and waiting.
Maybe we did read this. I feel like we've just read or heard so many similar to this. I want to say the reason we haven't heard face-to-face encounters is because those people can't share those stories anymore.
They're now missing people.
They're screaming in the woods. Oh, I meant to look this up. So I was driving home from New Jersey late. So my brother proposed to his girlfriend. Yay, my new sister, Charlotte. And I was going to stay the night in New Jersey and then drive back Sunday morning. But I was just like, I'm just going to get on the road and drive home. So I drove probably from like 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. At 9:23 p.m., and I remember this specifically, I was driving on 15, like Highway 15, through Connecticut. I like voice noted myself after this happened because I was like, I want to look up if anything happened. But I was passing, I want to say like Fairfield, Connecticut, one of those exits. And from my right to my left, I saw this like glowing, bright ball of light like fly through the sky. And I was like, am I seeing things?
Like a comet, a fireball.
Was it a comet, a fireball? And I meant to look it up, but I forgot.
Oh, you need to.
But I like literally, I was like, I'm curious because like if it is a comet, there probably is some record of it.
Right. Or it's like, remember I had told you the story about how when I was walking Wrinkles years and years ago, and we saw like a giant ball of fire going through the sky and it had like a huge tail.
That's how
it seemed like end of the world asteroid, and Wrinkles like looked up at me like, oh shit. And then I looked it up when we were starting this podcast. I went back and looked it up, and there was like one blog that had existed with like one other person who mentioned this giant fireball, and like nowhere else, like not on any sort of like space and whatever. Like people who are supposed to look and chronicle what's going on in the sky.
We're all supposed to chronicle our fireball experiences because it really did feel like a fireball, or like I've seen so many meteor showers in my life, but it was so much bigger. It was
it feels like what the dinosaurs saw.
Yeah. Anyway, well, this was fun. See you at the Van Meter Festival.
Oh, I like forgot what we were even talking about in this episode. I was like, what did we cover?
And
the Van Meter visitor.
Won't see you in the woods of Appalachia.
No, my God.
Or will we? Because that does sound fun. If you have any encounters with the glowing unicorn pterodactyl of Van Meter, Iowa, if you have any paranormal encounters at all, if you just want to let us know how you eat your corn, please email us at twogirlsoneghostpodcast@gmail.com. If you're team hysteria dancing plague, say woot woot in the comments.
Woot woot.
Say drop it low, low.
Shebang, shebang.
In the comments. And join us on Patreon for episodes 1 week early and ad-free, and bonus content, and campfire stories, and book club, and so many more exciting things.
Shout out to Jamie Ryan, who edits and produces our podcast. Thank you, Jamie.
And thank you to all of you. We love you.
And we will see you on the other side.
Very spooky.